Hey everybody, this is Robbie. You are watching Geek Level Asian, and today we're going to talk about the new Hasbro Power Rangers Lightning Collection and if they are worth it or not. The long-awaited Hasbro Power Rangers Lightning Collection went live for pre-order February 16th when Hasbro unveiled their first wave of action figures at Toy Fair. In August 2018, Hasbro gave us a glimpse into the Lightning Collection by giving us a sneak peek at the Mighty Morphin White Ranger at Power Morphicon. We've now seen photographs and officially released images of the Mighty Morphin White Ranger, Dino Charge Red Ranger, SPD Shadow Ranger, Lord Zed, and Goldar. So the first thing I want to say about the Lightning Collection is that it is very clear that Hasbro did their homework, and I, as a lifetime Power Rangers fan, appreciate that. So at a high level, these action figures look top-notch. From the replaceable heads, to all of the painted accessories that they come with, to the packaging, it's very clear that Hasbro has done their homework in not only what Power Rangers fans want and like, but the dynamic of their customer age range, and we'll talk about that. And when looking at these action figures, I believe that I see the thought process that went behind many of the decisions while creating them. For example, Power Rangers fans don't only love the Power Rangers when they're morphs, they also love the characters that play them. So many years ago, we were given the flip heads, which in reality, and even at that time, looked utterly ridiculous. Because of the way that they were designed, everyone looked like they had couch cushions inside of their spandex. Like if I took these two cushions and put them inside my shirt, that's what the flip heads looked like. And not only that, the accessories looked like they were an afterthought. They weren't even painted, they were all gray. So knowing that we not only like the Power Rangers when they're morphed, but also like the characters and the actors themselves, they've given us the interchangeable heads. And they've used 3D printing technology that I don't know anything about, but the heads and the faces actually look like the characters. I love that we are getting a Kruger head. He deserves it. Now, something that I've been very vocal about on social media is the gigantic muscly bodies that Power Rangers action figures have always had. So you can imagine when the SH Figuarts action figures came out, I was very excited because they were way more accurate. But when Bandai started releasing the legacy props, the morphers, and the weapons, and they were utterly amazing, I was so stoked for an action figure line to come out. I was like, oh man, the action figure is gonna look awesome. And then I was extremely disappointed because once again, we were given Power Rangers with very inaccurate, unrealistic bodies, inaccurate designs when it comes to the helmets themselves. The colors were decently off, and very strangely specific gender differences between the female and male Rangers. And something to be said about that is a lot of the Sentai actors that were inside of the spandex in the original footage, a lot of the females were played by men. I mean, look at this. Look at the difference between the shapes of the helmets. When did the Tyrannosaurus helmet ever look like this? This looks more like Dino Charge Green. And not to mention the gold Zeo Ranger that I call the Pringles Ranger, because his paint job was done so poorly that his shield looks like he's wearing a Pringles chip. The bodies on the Lightning Collection are way more accurate, down to wrinkles in the spandex. They actually paid attention to that. And I mean, look at Lord Zed. He's got real tubing. He's got real tubing going around his body. We've never had an action figure like that. And that brings me over to Articulation. Now, I don't have one in my hands, but it seems like, from the images that we've seen, that the Lightning Collection action figures will be able to pose in more human-like stances because you can articulate them more. When I get one in my hands, we'll talk more about that. Now, there's two reasons why I think Hasbro really paid attention to their audience and to their customer age range. The accessories, from what we can see, look very accurate, and they're painted. And the detail on the painting looks very good. They even gave us some lightning and some bolts and some action-type props to use so that they don't look so static. The other reason is because of the packaging itself. The packaging speaks to me as a collector as something that looks great on a shelf if I don't want to open the toy. Very similar to an SH Figuarts box. It's small, it's slender, it has great design on it, and you could see all of the accessories inside of it. Now, there are some things that I noticed that I definitely want to mention because I did notice them, and I want your opinions about them. Originally, when I first saw the images of Dino Charge Red, his sleeves looked like they were made out of spandex, like there was a printed material on his arms. In the more recent images where it shows Brendan Mejia's face on the action figure, his arms look almost like real scales. So I don't know exactly what it's going to look like when it really comes out. I have a feeling it's going to be the latter. And that's not a big deal, but it's something that I noticed. And the only other thing that I have to mention that I didn't even notice myself, this was mentioned to me, is that Lord Zedd's blade on the bottom of his staff is actually facing the wrong way. And I can't really blame Hasbro because they probably saw Lord Zedd's staff in other images, even in the Legacy War game. The blade on the bottom of his staff is actually backwards. So not a huge deal, but definitely something now that I've seen it, I can't unsee it, and I don't know if they're ever going to fix it. Now, a few months ago, some other information was leaked that we are getting a Magna Defender, and we are also getting a Mighty Morphin Pink Ranger. So we have not seen a female Lightning Collection action figure yet, so I hope that they really still pay attention to the fact that it doesn't have to be this exaggerated female body. And if Kimberly is going to have an interchangeable head, which I'm sure she will since the other Rangers do, I hope that her hair makes sense. Because on the flip heads, because of the way that they were designed, they had to give everyone a bob. So now the question is, the Hasbro Power Rangers Lightning Collection action figures, are they worth it? My opinion? Yes, they are worth it. I've already pre-ordered all of them. So do you agree? Do you think that these new action figures look absolutely amazing? Or maybe you have a different opinion. Let me know. Let's have a conversation about it in the comments. Who would you like to see as a new release? So if you want to keep up with more Power Rangers and Sentai news, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to follow me on the social media networks because I am on there probably more than I should be. And once again, everybody, be good to each other and may the power protect you.